or PM?
Coming in at 9:30 p.m. So I'll be
9:30
able.
p.m.
So I'll be dressed for the club already. So I'll probably just coming over, dropping bags off, and going straight to the club.
And get some bitches.
Yep, you get bitches afterwards. Yeah,
Strippers and models like usual. Yeah.
Well, me mainly.
You go for the intellectual cream of the crop. That's who we date.
Well, I just had a girl that's she's finding out that me and my ex no longer talk, and so she's hitting me up. She's like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to find a boyfriend that I could go sleep with girls with, and he won't get jealous about me wanting to."
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I know she's doing.
Vaguely familiar.
Yeah,
I know that one before.
Play.
It's quite the grift. All right, so all right, so let's get this started. Todd V is the biggest pickup artist in the world. He's even had PewDiePie react to his infield. That's how big he is. And if you don't know, somehow you've been living under a rock. PewDiePie has over 110 million subscribers. And this guy is reacting to infield footage of Todd V approaching girls. Now, what PewDiePie had to say was not exactly positive. And Todd V's gotten a lot of criticism, being called cringy and weird and pushy and, you know, basically a street harasser, etc. I'm not saying these things, but other people have said these things. And I want to, let's get out of what the general culture says about Todd V isn't necessarily accurate. Culture does not like pickup artists. They have a bias thinking they're creepy, and some of them are. But I'm an actual dating coach who actually goes out, approaches tons of women, and I've had a lot of success. And so me and Charisma King, another very successful dating coach, are going to break down Todd V's infield from the perspective of someone who's on the inside of that cult. Do you have anything you want to
add? Yeah. Well, I have a client. I have to now move out of the room. Shoot.
So he has to. What he wants to add is that he has to move out of the room.
1 sec here. All right, here. Actually, let me do this really fast.
Thank you, Severin.
Moving around some different spots right now. It's a long story.
It's quite a large house. Right, wow. Someone's balling.
All right, here we go. Let me see if I get the lighting just
right. That angle, the opposite angle. You want the light.
Yeah, I don't know what that was going on with right there. All right, here. Now that that's absolutely fucking. All right, there we go. All right, so what was the question again?
That's better. If you could maybe turn it even a little more. It's still a little bright.
Here. Well, so help the family out with some stuff right now. Here. All right. How is that?
That looks a lot better. There we go. That looks good.
Okay, good. All right. So.
All right. So, do you have anything you want to say about Todd V?
Yeah, I think he's really talented personally. That's just my 2 cents. I think he's really talented. I think he knows what he's talking about. I do think he could be a bit of a narcissist at times, but I mean, who in the industry really can't? I mean, most girls go for that kind of energy to begin with. It's confidence. A lot of his advice is very hard hitting and it works really well. It's to the point. There's honestly, I don't see anything. I honestly don't see anything wrong with his advice whatsoever.
Okay, so we're gonna look at some.
Bad from him.
Let's see if this changes your mind. We're gonna look at some Todd V infield that he posted recently to promote his Verbal Game Academy, and we're gonna take a look and see, is PewDiePie and the general culture, are they right that he's a cringe lord that cannot get hot girls? There's no fucking way. Or is he just being outcast by general society because he's been labeled as a pickup artist and people want pickup artists to be creepy? I'm going to be as unbiased as possible in looking at this. So without further ado, let's just look at the footage. Let me share screen. Window. StreamYard. Infinite recursion. And then like that. Yeah, that works. Okay. This video is called How to Pass a Shit Test. And guys, anyone who's watching, I'm about to play the audio. Let me know, confirm that it's working, because I'm a boomer and I don't want to do the whole thing and then the audio isn't working, because then I would feel, mentally challenged, which maybe I am.
I can't hear on my side.
You don't hear it?
Mm-mm. I know there's infield though.
All right. Do you guys hear it? No audio, not working. Well, fuck. Why might that be? Oh, why is there a second instance of me? Yeah, I'm gonna figure this out. Sorry, technical difficulties. I am a boomer. Move. Stop screen. Share. Share screen. I should close that. No. Let's see. And if anyone knows StreamYard by chance and wants to fix it for me, let me know. Hockey's general. It's worked before, but maybe having you on it messes it up somehow.
Yeah, that's what girls usually say. I guess someone
All right,
here. It's just really quiet.
do you hear his lovely voice?
It's just really quiet on your side.
Do you hear Todd's lovely voice, guys? Full screen layout. Awkward. All right. Still no audio?
I still can't hear anything on my side.
No audio. Well, fuck. That's not good. Let's see. What can I do about this?
What if you play through the speakers? If you play through the speakers, play loud.
Oh, maybe it has something to do with that. Yeah. If that's the case, then just make sure that while I'm playing it, that you are on mute so it doesn't create echo.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, let me know if it starts working now.
She's, I think, like reading a book, having a glass of wine, has her earbuds in. She's one of those in the like "don't mess with me" kind of mode.
Do you hear it now?
I can hear it. I just can't see it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's not supposed to. All right. Do you see it and hear it now?
And looking very kind of like classy, elegant, kind of like.
Sweet. Everyone else, I want to confirm you guys can hear it too. Sorry about that fucking, this one's not going live on the channel without some editing.
Alone, most guys don't actually even approach because she looks intimidating.
Okay. All right, so we're good to go. And I want to add our faces. Boom. The fuck? All right. Does it look good and our faces are on the side? Charisma King?
Yeah, it looks good to me.
Okay.
Excuse me. Hi. I have to say, I absolutely love your look. So very elegant, Miami, but not quite. I'm guessing I have to go in a minute. Actually, I don't know. You and I might not get along, but I feel like you won't be boring. I'm not boring. Yeah.
So what do you feel about that opener? How do you feel about that opener?
I don't like the fact he said "excuse me," but "excuse me" is such a minor thing, and also it does seem a little bit try hard in certain ways. To be fair, I've seen a lot of. It's not terrible. To be fair, you and me have talked about this infield before. I'm neither. Honestly, I'm pretty neutral on it. I'd have to see how this goes because I don't do this kind of approach ever. Usually, I'm a lot more either direct or I'm direct indirect with the way I do things. I never do an approach like this. Like, I love your elegant look because this is something that I've seen guys do before in the past as clients, and it annoys the crap out of me because there's a certain type of mannerism and certain type of way of moving. If you want to do something like this, they'll pull it off. But it's not the words themselves that make it work. It's the fact that you have to come across as you have to put it off in the sub communication, if that makes any sense.
So I think that the problem with this opener is Todd V talks about how it's important not to give away your power. in the beginning, right? You don't want to give away all your power by being too direct. And so he says, be more subtle. And he's doing some push pulls. But you know what's ironic is he's putting in so much effort that he's giving away more power than if he just were direct. Just like, hey, I like your elegant look, and just left it at that and gave a pause and let her respond. Because he said a whole fucking paragraph. Like he's starting a poem before he even gave her the chance to respond at all, right? He just went into this whole spiel, this whole like chess match, like this whole sequence of moves without even giving her a chance to breathe. And I think it makes him look like he's trying way too hard to make her like him.
Most guys don't act. So I absolutely love your look. So very like elegant, Miami, but not quite. I'm guessing I have to go in a minute. Actually, I don't know. You and I might not get along, but I feel like you won't be boring. I'm not boring. Okay, I'm not.
So I'm not boring. That's actually good. She's qualifying there, right?
Yeah, that's not bad whatsoever.
Hey, that's a good sign because she's falling into the frame that he's setting. She's not resisting it. So he's saying, you're not going to be boring. A bad sign would be she says, oh, I'm very boring, right? Then she's going against the grain. She doesn't want to go along with what you're doing. She doesn't want to be in rapport with you. She wants to clash heads. That's a sign that she's not hooked yet, right? That she's not really into it yet. So that's a good sign.
And trying overtly not to qualify would be a far worse one. I appreciate that. Hey, I'm Todd. What's your name? What's that? Todd? Todd, nice to meet you. Do you mind if I join you for a second? I have to go in a second, though. So that means you're either like...
So what do you think of him going to sit down with her in that way?
I think that honestly, in this situation, a time constraint would be... I mean, it's not a bad thing, but he kind of now shot himself in the foot because he can't hang out there that long without making it seem weird. Mm-hmm. I think that he should have honestly given it more time. Sitting down though is not bad. Sitting down part is good. It's just that now he's like he has to reassert the fact that he only has a second to stay, and it's coming across a little bit try hard.
Yeah, I agree. So, but the sitting down part is good. This is a very common mistake I get on boot camps. I'm sure you see this a lot. The guy just goes in, immediately sits down with a girl before he's even talked to her. And she's thinking, is this guy homeless? Is this guy a creep? Is this guy going to be pushy? You haven't established enough value for her to be comfortable with you sitting next to her. So you want to open first, talk for 15, 30 seconds, a minute, get to the point where she's receptive, and then ask to sit next to her to show that you're not some crazy person that's just going to like overstay your welcome and make her uncomfortable. It's important to be polite about that particular thing.
Incredibly cool or incredibly dangerous? I'm not sure which. Probably both. When you are incredibly cool or incredibly dangerous? I'm not sure which.
So what do you think of that line? You're either incredibly cool or incredibly dangerous.
It's actually not a terrible line. I actually kind of like it. That one I do like. It's again. See, the way he speaks is very similar to this. I know a lot of other guys that if they were to speak like him, like I've talked to this guy a lot in the past, and he does speak like this. So for him, this could work, but I don't think any other guy should be stealing his lines like this. I think that they should be trying to find their own version of this, something that does have this kind of an angle. By trying to steal his lines directly from him, I think a lot of people start sounding incongruent, but because he's consistently sounding like this throughout, it doesn't sound like he's trying to play games.
I think it's unique, which is good, right? No one talks like that, so it stands out, but it's kind of cheesy. You're incredibly cool or you're incredibly dangerous, right? It's a little bit try hard. It's a little bit over the top, trying to sound fancy and like it's just not very relatable. It's a little uncalibrated, in my opinion. And I also think the biggest criticism I have of Todd V's game is his tonality. His tonality is not really breaking rapport. It's not very certain. He doesn't speak with a lot of conviction. He's like, you're either incredibly cool or incredibly... No, like you're either incredibly cool or incredibly... Like he has to have some fucking emotion behind what he says. He sounds a little bored. He doesn't sound very masculine. He doesn't sound very sure of himself. And I know for saying all this shit, he's going to copyright strike this video, which I will happily challenge that because fuck you. False copyright strikes are fucked up. If anyone who doesn't know about that, he's copyright striked me before. He's copyright striked Alex about making videos reviewing him or analyzing him, which is half of fucking YouTube. Obviously, that's allowed and protected by fair use. But that's off topic. I guess I'm a little, I'm not happy about that. That's partly why I stopped making these coach versus coach videos, because it was a hassle. But honestly, I've changed my mind. Fuck that. Anyway, he doesn't sound like he has that much conviction or confidence in what he's saying. He doesn't sound super nervous, but he doesn't sound like passionate either. Would you agree or disagree? Did you hear that?
Well, I agree, but in his defense, out of the 2 videos I've ever seen, these are the only 2. There's only 2 infields that I didn't like of his, which this is one of them. This one I was kind of like neutral with. The other one was the one that what's his face posted up. It was the Penguin guy, and PewDiePie reacted to.
Mhm.
Those are the only 2 infields that I saw where I was like kind of like with. In his defense,
Yeah, the only problem is he doesn't have much infield on YouTube other than
not anymore. No,
videos. So
no.
It doesn't mean I have to be smug about it. Just like
That is one of the most arrogant statements ever. I'm like, oh, you're kind of arrogant. I'm like, no, just confident because I'm so amazing. And so modest.
what do you think about that?
Too competitive. The frame is too competitive.
That's
like,
funny. I actually think this was the best part so far.
You do?
Because he's teasing her in a way that's playful. She's buying into it, right? She's saying, no, just confident. And so it has a repartee, right? They're bantering, and I think it's good. I think this part's pretty good.
Well, so my big thing is like, obviously you have to at some level be challenging to the girl, but you want to also have a vibe of building with. And at this point, he hasn't done too much of that. The only thing I've heard from him throughout this entire conversation is him kind of just slightly bashing on her the entire time. If he does have any parts where he's actually, so it's push and pull, he's not really doing too much in the way of pull.
Right. But that might be because he sees her as the kind of girl that's standoffish. I think he said before the infield starts that she had like a resting bitch face. She didn't look like someone who wanted to be approached. She looked difficult to approach, which means he's being more what would you call it? He's doing more push, right? He's being more challenging to match that.
That's fair.
I'm so amazing. And so modest.
So you live in Miami?
Half the time. I live in Miami half the time, New York half the time.
That's good.
Okay. Well, you're almost kind of my neighbor. You're at just far enough where like if
Little brother.
you're my little brother, yes. You're at just far enough where like if
Little brother.
you're my little brother, yes.
Very cold, very conservative, but very educated.
Like if
Okay.
Little brother.
you're my neighbor. You're at just far enough where like if
Little brother.
you're my little brother, yes. Fair enough.
I think she's saying he's her little brother, right?
Yeah,
Why would
she's
she
trying to
be
do
the little
that,
brother?
but I think he's mishearing her on purpose.
Okay. And
I
when
can
she's
see him
saying
doing that.
when she's saying boring, cold, very conservative, she's talking about him, right?
That's what it sounds
That's
like
what
to
it
me
looks
too,
like.
yeah.
Which
it's
it's
also
funny.
shit
He
test.
cut forward in the infield, and then he cut to the like. This has to be the worst part. She's saying he's boring, cold, and very conservative. Which I mean, I don't think that's the most inaccurate description of his general persona. But that's not a good sign. If a girl's saying you're boring and cold and conservative, like when it comes to having a one night stand, those are like the list of the traits that a girl doesn't want. Now, I don't know exactly why she's saying that, but that's certainly not a sign that she's like buying into it and she's really
Well,
like
he's pushing too much at times, I think. So she's feeling a little combative.
Mm.
She also has closed off body language. I think that she just feels like he's pushing too much, which she's smiling, which I wish I could see her facial expression. Then this probably could tell us a little bit more. But he's smiling like he's saying something we're not.
Maybe.
Like if she's smiling and being like a little bit cocky with it, then I could see her being like making this into a playful thing or like a challenging thing. But man, I'm not sure at this point.
Cold, very conservative, but very educated.
Is that you, boring, cold, conservative, but educated? So notice here.
So, I mean, I like that he reframed it to be her because, I mean, you have to do something with that. You can't just be like, just take that Well, actually, you could just take it and not be reactive. That'd be fine. But she's coming in pretty hot. And so you have to either exaggerate it, revert it back to her. You could play into it and just talk about how extremely boring you are and how binary turns you on, like something like that. But turning on her is a valid option. Now, the fact that she said that is fucking horrible, right? That's a sign that she is not interested at all.
Hmm.
All right, I don't care about hearing him talking.
People rather than this pure, factual, dry, platonic frame. So
she basically just said he's dry, so it's kind of funny.
You're just far enough away that like it would if we like fell madly in love, we tease each other with the idea we're close and could see each other, but in reality it's still long distance. Introducing the theme.
Okay, what do you think of that technique?
Tease each other with the
I don't know. He's cutting it up a little bit, so it's kind of hard to pick it up in like context. I'm kind of curious what she says after it. I think it's like if it can be said at the right times. If she's interested, if it's not over the hill with it yet, then it can be a little bit try hard, like trying to shove it into a certain frame. Then it will come across a little try hard.
I mean, he's doing a role play, right? He's trying to create the bubble of love, like it's us against the world. We're going to fall in love. And I think that is a good concept, right? That is a powerful tool, but the way he's doing it is it's like a little much, right? It's a little too try hard, a little too forceful, a little too pushy, trying to like assert this frame on her and make her have to accept it. It doesn't feel natural. It feels like it's scripted.
Fair enough. Well, I'll keep that in mind if you ever piss me off and be like, wait, we could be much further. Fair enough. Well, I'll keep that.
What do you think she means when she's saying we're not as far away as it could be?
Man, it could go either way, honestly. Like if I could see her body language a little better, she's been very still this entire time. Like she's been like in the same position this entire time. So she's not nervous. Like if she was nervous, she'd be fidgeting a lot more, which would mean that she's probably more into him, but she's been very still this entire time. She's also not shooing him away because if she wasn't interested, she's still feeling him out. Dude, honestly, it could be a shit test.
Okay, good. To be fair though, women will, I mean, I see this with clients who still, they have progress to make. Their game isn't very good yet. Girls will entertain them. This happened to me. A girl would entertain me for an hour, but she was never interested. She just thought it was kind of funny to watch the show. She came in to see the circus. She was never going to have sex with me, but like, why not just watch? Because this guy's kind of interesting and he's funny in his own way. And I can just enjoy the interaction, but there's no, I'm not into him at all.
I didn't mind if you ever piss me off and be like, wait, we could be much further away, my dear. It's subtle, but who's chasing whom, right? What is the frame of everything?
I don't think she's chasing him at all. What do you think?
Not yet. Not really. Like I wouldn't say yet.
Yeah, I don't see any signs of her chasing. It doesn't look like she's putting more effort into the interaction. It looks like he's putting more effort into it.
I'm saying everything I'm saying is from a high value frame. The idea that she would like me, she'd be the one wanting things to happen. I'm the one wanting things not to happen. But again, I am constantly bringing up the man to woman. That part is constantly being introduced into the conversation. Like I feel like I know what this says about me. When I was in Boston, almost every girl I dated went to Harvard. So like that's something guys would say is like, ha ha ha, look at me.
Well, I can relate to that one. What do you think about that line?
Here, play it one more time.
He said every girl when I was in Boston that I dated went to Harvard.
It's pointless to say, and it's a little try hard. It's just like it's obvious that you're trying to qualify.
DHV?
Yeah,
she's attempting to DHV, but it's too on the nose, right? It's like obvious what he's doing. It's like, look at this watch, by the way. This is a Rollie, by the way. Do you like the Rollie? Do you like it?
There's a way of qualifying that makes it work, and that's a little bit too on the dot, honestly.
Usually it's like if she asks you something and the answer is something that's a DHV, right? If she asked like what kind of girl he dated, then that would make sense. But he's doing it kind of out of nowhere and trying to force it in, and that makes it feel forced.
Me, I'm so cool.
Makes it seem gamey.
What did I do to make it not bragging? Right before I'm like, I don't know what this says about me, but I actually acted like I'm like kind of ashamed by it. kind of like I'm embarrassed by it, or I think it's kind of cheesy or silly.
I didn't get
which
that.
Then makes me saying it afterwards like non-brat.
I'd say that would be true, but I didn't get that from the way he said it.
But I still got that information into the conversation. And given this girl's blueprints, given how she sees the world and who she is, that's the kind of thing that is impressive for her, as we'll see in a second. I appreciated the conversation. Is impressive for her, as we'll see in a second.
Hey, what?
I appreciated the conversation. Yeah, so it says you.
That actually sounds good, right?
Yeah, that sounds good. That's not
Right.
a
It
bad
sounds like she's
response.
buying into it, right? She's buying into it. Like, oh, so you have high standards. You're picky. So it actually sounds like the Harvard thing that had a good effect, surprisingly.
Yeah, I agree.
Appreciated the conversation. Yeah, so it says you have high standards. Someone doesn't go to Harvard, they can't date you. She received the message I was putting out there quite well. I used to. I still have high standards. I used to have high standards in that way. I don't care as much about the resume as I used to when I was younger. Does that make sense? Like now I care. I want someone ambitious. I want someone intelligent. Huh?
Okay. Well, how do you feel about that?
I'd actually give it a neutral. She's challenging a little bit, but I'd give it like a neutral response.
Okay. I think based on her tone and the fact that she's saying, is this a job interview? It sounds like she's not in rapport with him at all, right? She doesn't feel a connection at all. She doesn't feel like they're in the same wavelength. So they're butting heads, but it's not really in a super flirty way. I'm not getting a sexual energy from it. I'm getting what is this? A job interview? Usually when I hear that, I don't end up sleeping with the girl. Usually. It's not a big green light. So I would say it's not a horrible sign, but it's not a good sign. That's my take.
I'd agree.
Ambitious, I want someone intelligent. Huh? And this is funny because I haven't mentioned.
And look at her body language.
Huh?
It's like it's very still. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's confrontational. Her body language is like, it's not flowing or comfortable. It's like, I'm fighting with someone. That's what it looks like, right? I'm in an argument with someone. That's what her body language looks like to me.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is funny because I haven't mentioned her at all in this, right? But since this is a job interview, she's automatically putting herself in this category. She's automatically considering whether she meets my standards.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that either.
That's an interesting take. I don't think when a girl asks, is this a job interview? I mean, I like his positive delusion in a way. Like he's interpreting everything as being a good thing. So in a way that can actually work in your favor because it means you're going to go for it, right? You're going to ask for the number. You're going to ask her to come back to your place because he's assuming she's into him, even though he's getting all these red lights. So maybe there's a meta lesson, right? There's a deeper lesson that even though what he's saying is wrong, the fact that he has so much self-belief that when a girl says, is this a job interview? He's like, yes. So she thinks that she's trying to apply to have a chance to date me. The fact that he's thinking that way might actually, there might actually be a lesson there.
Whether she fits this criteria that I'm putting out there, right? Oh my goodness. No, standards have elevated, if anything, but I care more about the experience I have with someone than about, what alma mater they hail from.
Fancy words.
Fair enough. I feel like you might not be too bad though. I said I feel like you might not be too bad. We can be friends. I just won't give you any contact info, so you can't stalk me. It'll be fine.
Okay, what do you think about that?
She needed more comfort, or more it is a little bit gamey. It's I don't think it was a good push necessarily, but I don't know. Sometimes when a guy's a different style of game like this, sometimes I can be surprised. He's very pushy with what he does, so I'm kind of curious what she'll say in response.
Look, pushy guys, to be fair, they do better than most guys.
The guys that pull.
The reason is it's kind of like with sales, right? The best salesmen are the ones that are pushy and know when to back off. But the really good ones, the ones who do really well, are not the ones that are overly empathetic and overly worried about what the other person thinks. They're the sharks, the ones that are just always going for the close. They don't give a fuck and they have low empathy. And that with women too, guys like that, pick up guys like that, they tend to do pretty well, even though a lot of girls are uncomfortable and don't like them and they put a lot of girls off. Some girls just like the dominant energy and that the guy just doesn't give a fuck. So that can work. The thing that stuck out to me about this is that he said, I'm not going to give you any contact info. So he's digging himself his own grave, right? He's digging himself in a hole, because now when he asked for her number, she's like, you said you weren't going to give me contact info. So she's much more likely to just say no.
But
so why did he
make
say
a joke
that?
about, you can make a joke and be like, oh, dude, I was fucking teasing you. If I was doing that, I would just say, dude, I was teasing you. It was a joke.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it helps. I think because then he has to think of a clever way out of that, right? He has to think of some way, well, now I do need, and maybe he has that planned. I guess we'll see. But why make it more difficult to get the number?
Well, it just feels he feels like he's lower value than the girl. So it does feel like he's trying to win her over the entire time, which I think is a very clear point. It's not like I think somebody's higher value than another person. It's not so pushy or so like obvious. It's a lot more subtle. And it just feels a lot more forceful, like he's trying to force like the higher frame.
The higher value person generally puts in less effort, right? They don't need to win the other person over. It's already assumed that they would like them. So they're not going to do a bunch of fancy gimmicks. It's like he's doing a magician show, right? He's putting on a whole fucking show. Look at my tricks. Do you like me? Do you like me? And it's just too much effort.
I feel like you might not be too bad. We could be friends. I just won't give you any like contact info.
Wait, did they skip ahead or did you skip ahead?
Yeah, I skipped ahead because we'd just seen it, but I had to go back because there was some more.
Can't stalk me. It'll be fine. I mean, have you looked at me?
So what was that supposed to be?
How's the vibe there?
That seemed confrontational.
Yeah, confrontational. He's trying to force a frame. And frame control is very important, but there's an art to it. It can't be forceful, right? It can't be like I'm trying to, you have to do it. You have to be in rapport. And rapport means that you're like, when you're in rapport, there's a lot of signs. You kind of copy each other. You want to agree with the other person. Your body language will copy each other, which he's not copying his body language. All those things will happen subconsciously. And then the other person wants to fall into your frame. But when you're like constantly trying to force, by the way, I'm beautiful. Have you looked at me? Or you're not going to stalk me? Like she feels that it's mechanical, right? That it's not genuine. And that puts her off.
Looked at me?
So what was that supposed to be?
All right, I love that exchange, right? So here again, I'm bringing up this idea we can be friends, but not more than that. So it's kind of a hint of a man-to-woman frame, but an idea of it won't happen. And her, why would I stalk you? Have you looked at me? Right? It's a great way to pass certain shit tests, is just to act as though the answer is obvious. Like if she questions you on like your credentials in some way, like trying to verify your credentials, like why would I stalk you? Like, well, because I'm so attractive and this and this. Now you're trying to prove yourself. But it's just like, have you looked at me? That actually isn't qualifying yourself, right? It's just being cocky in this like kind of non-specific way that can kind of work, right? But now she's gonna give me an interesting shit test, which is like,
okay, boring.
Supposed to mean, right? Which is actually a real shit test and actually a pretty tough one to pass. Take a second actually and think about how would you try and pass that shit test, because it's a difficult one, and then we'll see how I pass it. I don't know. I was taking a page out of your arrogance playbook. And
it's pretty witty.
Yeah, that's not bad. That one's good. I like it. Because it's like you're arrogant, so I'm not allowed to be arrogant now.
All right, that was a good, like, something Hank Moody would say. I liked it.
Yeah.
Shit test, which is called going meta, right? And going meta basically means instead of trying to pass the shit test from within the interaction, you kind of go one step above and you become a bit on the frame.
Okay, blah, blah, blah.
The technique is to go outside the frame and look back on the frame rather than responding from within the frame. So going meta is a really good solution for difficult shit tests. I mean, rationally, I saw you and thought you were beautiful, but, you know, I have plans and a life, and the odds are you probably would, you know, not live up to my standards. So if I was being totally rational, I wouldn't even come and said hi. But, you know, here we are, and I'm kind of glad I did.
Okay, what do you think of that?
Convoluted, but it was good. I don't think it was terrible. I think it's like.
I think he's hitting on the same note again and again and again, right? He's already said it. So he's trying to really trying to go down this one little thread. It just needs to keep going down it that, oh, you might not be good enough for me. You don't need to say that a million fucking times. I also think his body language and delivery are not good here. He's fidgeting. He's very fidgety, and he's looking around. He's looking to the right. He's looking to the left. He's looking around a lot. He looks not comfortable, He looks
Well, that's
uncomfortable.
not looking left and right can be a sign that like he's like thinking of walking away. Like that's one thing that it could be good for. Like it's but when you're trying to pass a shit
Because it's
test,
not going anywhere.
yeah, well you're thinking about like, I could walk away any second. I think even Mystery called it, which I don't Mystery I don't really, think too much of personally, but he's a cool guy, but I don't like his theories, but he brought up this thing called a body rock, which a body rock there are actually some utility to it.
Mhm.
Basically like just give the feeling like you can walk away. So I can see that being a thing.
Rationally, I saw you and thought you were beautiful, but I have plans and a life, and the odds are you probably would, not live up to my standards. So if I was being totally rational, I wouldn't even come and said hi. But here we are, and I'm kind of glad I did.
Well, it's a risk. I was with my AirPods.
I know.
Yeah, she's chasing him now.
I can have this in a bit.
And so here,
So that part looked good.
Yeah. She's now engaged in the conversation.
Yeah, more so than up to that point.
That I would have had to go jump off a building afterwards. So I'm glad you didn't.
Just like walked away, having some less faith in women.
Yeah. And so back to the shit test of that I don't.
Okay, so same basic idea. Like she's more bought in right here. So this looks better.
Yeah.
He also leaned away when that happened, which I think was generally good body language because he was like leaning in a lot and kind of seemed like he's the one chasing her, and now being leaned back, it makes it look more even.
Faith in women.
Well, I think he's in the set now. Especially hooked it.
I have a lot of faith in women. I just have a lot of faith in women to act like women. You know what I mean?
Not everyone. Not each of them acts that way.
I hope you act like a woman at times.
Well, she's now fidgeting a little bit herself.
Well, I mean, granted, we only just met, so let's take it slow. But were we ever to become intimate, I hope you act like a woman during that time. And if there was,
okay, he said women with an E, which is funny. I hope you act like a women, but okay. So he's sexualizing here. He's making a implication of sex, and he's not doing it overly directly. So I think conceptually that's good. But I think he's basically talking about feminism and like gender, right? Women don't act like women. That is such a topic that a lot of girls, it's going to trigger them. It's going to be very upsetting. It's going to break any connection. It's just not something you want to go down unless you have to.
Oh, and Avery, I still do have my call in about 15 as a heads up.
Sure.
But were we ever to become intimate, I hope you act like a woman during that time. And if there was any doubt over the man to woman nature of this conversation, I have eliminated any doubt whatsoever there. So I hope you enjoyed the
That's the end of the clip.
Oh, okay, so you didn't get the phone number. You
Exactly.
cut it off right there. You didn't get the phone number.
There's no reason, right, from his perspective, and when we do infield too, if you get an infield, why would you not show? You show everything else. You're showing all these different bits. Why would you not at least show 5 seconds of him getting the number or getting a date or something? Because it didn't happen. So
exactly,
he's showing this video to promote his course as a great example of game, and he didn't even get the girl's number.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty weird, pretty sus, as the Zoomers say.
Yeah, so it didn't go so well as he was trying to indicate, but it's fine. He did do a lot of stuff that was very interesting and in their own way can be good. He was just very like, it was just too pushy. Like it's just too like gamey. That's the thing that was kind of bad about this. I feel like he was really rusty in this.
Yeah, maybe
he's
gone a long time without doing game. Maybe he's like a tradcon now, right? Living with a wife and family, and he just doesn't do game. And so, but he's like, I need new content to promote the course, and that's the best he could do. That is possible. I'd like to see some older infield and review that, but it's not really available on YouTube as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
So there is other infield that's definitely better than this, but there are some things that he generally does in all the infield I've seen, which is one, his vocal tonality is just kind of, it doesn't have that oomph to it, right? And it doesn't have that masculine energy. It doesn't have, much charisma, magnetism, things like that. The way he talks is a little like, hey, how's it going? It's a little nerdy. And then other than that, the other thing is his verbal game can be way too pushy, can be way too much like trying to force her to fall into the frame rather than just actually building a connection.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to our channels. Hit the bell button so that wow, well said. So that when we release new videos, you get a notification, and click the link. Kill me. And click the link below to learn more about us and to see our websites.
All right, hell yeah.
All right, compare his game to now. I always felt Todd's vibes were off. Do Julian. Here's a link of his old videos. Channel is full of all his infield. I don't see a link. All right, do you want to do another one in like 10 minutes or for 10 minutes? If not, if Todd.
Well, I have to go to so I have in about 15 minutes to my client call, and I've eaten yet today. So I need to get to that. I'm also getting a bunch of messages from other guys trying to get boot camps. So it's going to be a little later tonight. It's probably going to be around 7, I'd say, around 7 o'clock. And then I got another client at 9. So if you got some time, like at 7, I could do it then.
Okay.
All right. Hell yeah.
Sounds good. All right. See you, man. Glad having you on.
Hey, you too, man. I'll talk to you in a little bit, probably a little later tonight.
All right.
All right. Peace, man.
All right. So now we are going to look at, what's his name? Mindful attraction. Give me 1 second. Got to reorder this. All right. Wipe the sweat off my brow. All right. So Mindful Attraction, between his two channels, Mindful Attraction has about 450,000 subscribers. And he's a dating coach who teaches dark triad kind of tactics, right? He teaches manipulation, and he's very open about that. Of course, the question is, anyone can say they're a dating coach. Anyone can say they're an expert. But unless they have receipts, you see evidence that they're actually good with women, that they actually know what they're talking about, they could be a complete fraud, and many of them are. Now, it just so happens I found some infield footage of him. What's his name? Gillespie or something. I found some infield footage of Mindful Attraction approaching a girl, so we can see if he's one of the frauds or if he's one of the fewer, to be honest, legit guys. Let's find out.
Sitting down, and I was like, she's waiting. Hey, saw you over there sitting down, and I was like, she's waiting for me. I'm like, I know she's waiting for me. I'm like, yeah.
So sitting down right away is a little bit pushy. It can make the girl uncomfortable, especially in a daytime environment where you could be a salesman, homeless person, creep. She doesn't know. And that's what usually the people who talk to her are very weird. So she has a lot of reason to assume you're in that category until proven otherwise. So overall, that initial approach isn't ideal, but his energy, his vibe is very good. It's very charismatic. He's being friendly, fun, but it's clear he has a sexual intent, right? He's also being flirtatious. So overall, that's good. And his opener was good as well, right? It was cocky, but he was able to pull it off with his tonality. A lot of people, if they said that, it would come across kind of weird. But the fact that he's saying it, the fact that he's having fun while saying it, and he sounds certain, makes it work.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so he's already doing a little bit of push-pull. Kendall, Jesus Christ. Now, it doesn't even mean anything, but there's an implication that that's some kind of red flag, or it's a bad sign, or he's skeptical of her. And because before he was being very positive, now he's pushing away and saying, maybe I'm not interested in you. And that's the push-pull dynamic that dating coaches, pickup artists talk about all the time. It can be a little forced, but it does create tension.
Alexis. Whoa. You think? Well, if you say Alexis. I don't know, man. I asked my mom that. I think she was high when she came up with it. I was like, yo, mom, don't lie to me, man. Don't tell me I have to do drugs.
He's making the conversation emotional as opposed to logical, right? He's just talking about his name, but he's making it interesting by saying, I think my mom was high when she made it, etc. And so the overall vibe of the conversation is that it's for the sake of having fun and connecting rather than some interview exchange.
What are you doing right now?
Well, I'm here for like
Venus retreat.
Yeah.
What's that?
I honestly don't even know. My mom's not me. I can give you my number.
Nice.
This is totally random.
It is?
I don't know how it is for you, but for me,
Cool.
Yeah, it's for people who are like commuting, like just not forming.
How is there another at? What the fuck?
Waiting for the first month.
I'm going to be painfully honest with you.
Hey,
Most
Russell.
entrepreneurs do this.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's for people who are like commuting, like just not forming. But I'm only commuting for the first month. So
that's smart. That's smart. Where you from? Like Boston?
no, Connecticut.
Connecticut?
Yeah. But like they're doing a bunch of activities and stuff in there, and I just like
Say again?
they're doing a bunch of like activities and like weird icebreakers.
You don't like it,
So
right?
I'm just out there. I'm just like walking around.
Were you triggered? I think like you, man. It's a place where everyone gets triggered.
I know.
You gotta be sensitive in the heart.
I know.
Let me guess. Art or writing.
Well, like I'm either.
So he's very much not being a nice guy. He's saying, oh, you're triggered. They're triggered there, right? By everything. You got to be soft. He's doing this because that creates polarity. That creates tension. It makes it seem like you are genuine because you're not just saying what she wants to hear. You're doing things that are risk taking. She might disagree. She might not like what you're saying. So the willingness to be a little bit disagreeable or to have strong opinions makes you more attractive because it means you're not fake. You're not a people pleaser. You're not trying to trick her into liking her. You're not trying to trick her into liking you. You're being real.
Gonna major in like English or like free health. They're really different.
One of the greatest songs of all time. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Jealous? Good. Raise my self-esteem.
Again, everything is banter, everything is emotional. Jealous? Because there's not much you have to work with when you say, yeah, I live here. But he found a way to make it interesting, to make it intriguing. And that's really good.
It is amazing, though. It is amazing. Especially living around this area. Especially when you live far, you know? It's like living off campus.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You live in Manhattan. Everyone's having fun and you're outside.
Eternal temp too high.
So like when I use the campus and
It is amazing. Good. Raise my self-esteem. It's feel good. It is amazing, though. It is amazing. Especially living around this area. Especially when you live far, you know? It's like living off campus.
yeah.
You don't live in Manhattan. Everyone's having fun and you're outside.
So like when I use the campus and all open and
Yeah, basically this area, that's the best part about it. This thing is not our campuses have like such a exuberant part that has so much different culture. You know, but it's a multiplicity of people.
I know.
Yeah. Shocking. It's not, you're not in Connecticut no more, bro.
I know. When I was like people watching, like that kind of
Are you? Yeah. All right. I like judging them. Like, look at him, that fucking loser. He's ugly anyways.
Again, so basically she's kind of making the conversation normal. She's being a little bit more logical, but he's consistently finding ways to make it more intriguing, to create tension, right? No, I've judged them. Look at that loser there. Look at that fucking loser there. He's making things interesting, emotional, and he's showing that he's not a pushover.
Nah, you don't judge people? Scold them like under your breath? Oh, man. Oh, look at you taking a picture of the dog. That is picture worthy. French Bulldog is my favorite dog, too.
I can't. I don't laugh people. Yeah.
How dare you?
Out there. Why?
You can't see the difference between. You think all dogs look the same?
No. I mean, like, all the like mixes and stuff.
Yeah. You only know your favorites.
Yeah, like, I have no idea what that.
That's a Siberian husky and shit.
That's not at all. You're wrong.
What? That's a wolf? That? That's not a wolf. It's a cousin. It's a cousin of a wolf. Yeah, I mean, let me tell you what. Out of all the dogs, fucking, what's the kind of dog you have? Well, the Airbud, Labradors. They're like Well, the furthest from dogs, kind of dog, you know? This, yeah, I mean, he wants to taste good in case something happens. Marinate himself.
Stop being so nice to women. Nice will never equal turned on or.
Asshole. Yeah. Of course. Hell yeah. I mean, there's two options. You got to go to Brooklyn. You like, no, you don't want that. Where you blame? No, right?
I mean, I'm only here till like tomorrow.
Yeah. Or you could go all the way down 7 blocks, and I know exactly what to send you.
Really?
Yeah, it's not in the hood, but it's like in the corner, and you could just be like, the good looking Dominican guy sent me. Don't know. Definitely.
I actually think I might have to go back soon because I have like dinner and they only serve it like at a certain time.
Oh.
And I haven't eaten since breakfast.
Then it's time for you to go.
I can't do that.
I know, right? I know. Well, my love. Dude, hell yeah, man. Take my number down. When are you back?
I'll be back in like.
So she asked for his number. Whenever a girl asks for your number, that's a very good sign. That means you're making her feel like she wants to see you again, right? You're making her feel positive emotions. And if girls are rarely asking you for their number, is that right? If girls are rarely asking you for your number, that means something about your vibe, the way you're interacting, is not coming across right. So that's something to be aware of. How often are women asking me for my number? The more often that's happening, the more that means that you're putting off the right energy.
Late August.
Oh, shit, I'm not going to be here then.
Really?
Well, I'm leaving in September. I'm moving to Colombia or Thailand, one of the two.
No way. Why?
I just need to get away, man. I need to relax. I need to relax my beautiful mind. Yeah, like, it's, it's...
My friend's in Colombia right now.
Bro?
Her family's from there, and she said she loved it. She wants to move there.
You should try it. You never know. You might meet another me. Right?
That was cocky. That was very arrogant. But the way he said it didn't sound try hard, right? The way he said it was so fun that he's able to get away with it. And that's the thing. When it comes to being cocky or arrogant, if you sound like you're trying to force it, like, yes, you must accept that I am really cool, it doesn't work. But if you say it in a nonchalant, fun kind of way, then it's very attractive.
That's my Instagram here.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So overall, that was really good. His game is definitely good. I would say it's clear that Mindful Attraction is not one of those total frauds who has no game and they just decided, you know what? I can make money by making videos about how to pick up girls, even though I don't pick up any girls. He's definitely not in that category. His game, everything I've seen here was really good. I liked it a lot. I was actually surprised because I haven't seen his infield before. However, actually, there's not really a however. There's not a huge negative. The only thing that I would do differently is he did not make specific plans with the girl, right? He didn't ask when she's available and try to set in stone a plan to go out and meet again. Because when you do that, that will reduce the chances of her flaking. However, other than that, it was a really good interaction. He was definitely challenging. He was teasing her the whole time, but he was also listening. He was also being, he wasn't constantly like coming across that he disliked her, that he's attacking her. He's just being flirtatious. That's what flirtatiousness, that's what flirting should look like. This video was a great example of what flirting really is. You are being challenging, but you're not being a dickhead. And a lot of guys have an issue finding the difference. And the biggest difference is that he's having fun. He's not taking her seriously. He's not taking himself seriously. He's just enjoying himself and having a good time. He clearly doesn't really give a fuck if the girl rejects him. And that is the energy you want to give off in your interactions. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to wow. I had too much caffeine before doing this. But anyway, If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button. And if you're serious about getting your dating life handled, about getting multiple dates per week in the coming weeks and months, then make sure to click the link below to schedule a free 30-minute coaching call where we will give you a specific step-by-step strategy that if you follow, and as long as you follow the steps, you will be guaranteed to change your dating life forever. All right. Let's maybe do one more. So is Todd a fraud? No, fraud's too strong of a word. I guess people don't care about mindful attraction, huh? All right, one more video and then we're going to wrap up. So I'm going to take a quick break and then we get to see Amaranth and her boobies. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Oopsie. All right. I do not know if he was with Karina Kopf. If you do, oh shit. Yeah, my camera keeps overheating because, you know, I'm in Nevada. Well, I guess that's not going to work. All right. Try one more time. All right. I guess this will have to be good enough. So, if you don't know, Adin Ross is one of the world's most popular Twitch streamers. He has like 5 million followers, something like that. And he does something where he does something called e-dates, where he hosts people trying to flirt with a girl. A bunch of people try to flirt with a very attractive woman, and whoever she likes best wins, and they get a prize of $10,000. So this is a little bit of a scripted situation, but the guys really do have to try to be charming and win her over. And as someone who's a dating coach, someone who teaches men how to approach women, how to be attractive to women, this is going to be very interesting to analyze these different guys, these video game nerds trying to pick up Amaranth, who's, you know, one of the most famous Twitch streamers for her notorious hot tub streams and her ASMR and all those shenanigans. It's going to be interesting to see from the perspective of someone who goes out and shows guys how to approach and attract women every single week, how good these guys are, or how awkward and cringe these guys are. So let's take a look.
Wow, I did not know I was getting dragged up at all. Thought I had another minute or two. Anyways, my name's Aaron. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. It's nice to finally meet you. I don't know if you know this, but I've been a sub to you for like 15 months. I don't know if you know
Oh shit! Okay.
Tier 3 or?
Tier 2, actually.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Is there a reason? Are you broke?
No, I'm not. No, the reason why I wasn't a tier 3 is because I moved to Mexico to do this gambling thing and like stop.
Let me just make sure. Okay, my face is on the side, right? Can you guys confirm that you can see my face on the side while it's playing? Dun, 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 dun. I'll check later. All right.
Some of my like currency things or whatever, like it wouldn't let me at that time, but it got fixed out like that.
I got
You know what I'm saying?
you.
He's basically implying that he's poor, which is not necessarily the best start.
Yeah,
Definitely not broke.
no worries. Maybe you could, maybe next month. You know?
Yeah, for sure. But with that being said, so how you been otherwise?
I've been pretty good. I stream a lot, been working a lot, but everything's going good.
So he's got the laptop body language, someone who's on their laptop too much. I can relate to this, but you want to fight it a little bit. He's fully hunched over. He's closed in. He does not look comfortable. He does not look confident. He looks like he's out of his element.
Business as usual, so life is okay.
I'm gonna say something. I was watching the other day, and I couldn't believe how sick you were, and you were still alive. And then I realized, like, you definitely are built different. Like, your work ethic is very admirable. I just wanted to say that. Like,
So he's being a bit of a simp, right? He's complimenting her a lot, but that compliment was pretty good because it's very specific and personal, right? It's about her work ethic. She's used to being told she has nice titties. She's heard that before. This is something that she's going to hear a lot less and something that she prides herself over a lot more. When you're complimenting a particularly beautiful woman, it's going to be more effective to talk about her art, her ambitions, her style, her class, something that she earned, that she put effort into. That's what she wants to be praised on. And on the other hand, if you're complimenting a girl who's not particularly beautiful, then that is what you'd want to praise her on. You want to praise people on things that are true, but things that are not, but things that they don't hear 1,000 times a day, because that just becomes noise. It's meaningless to them.
Thank you. I appreciate
that
it.
was definitely some badass shit. So, I thought something else that we actually had in common is that my parents own a conservation with like ostriches and goats and horses and stuff like that.
The fuck?
And what I do with my stream, I take a part of the donations and I actually give it to my family. It's called Lamb's Farm. Yeah, it's in Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how much do you stream?
So apparently she's really into animals, conserving animals or some shit. I don't know. But she's into that, and he's making a point to bring that up, that they have that in common. It's good in the sense that it's very specific, and it's not just, I like animals, right? He's saying exactly what his family does for animals. So that's a good personal compliment, or that's a good personal way to make a connection. What's bad about it is it's just trying way too hard to say, hey, we have a lot in common. Hey, I really like you. Hey, it's just, he's being, I believe this word is banned on Twitch in the comments, but he's being a simp.
I stream 110 hours a week.
Oh,
What
okay.
the fuck?
Okay, pretty good.
I stream 110 hours a week.
God damn. 110 hours. This guy's going hard.
Oh,
What the
okay.
fuck?
Okay, pretty good.
No, he
It's
doesn't.
okay. But that's, I
There's
just...
no way he streams that
I love
much.
my passion, stuff like that. I like to make, people happy and, give back, stuff like that. But you look gorgeous tonight. I can't believe I'm actually talking to you. This is pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
Okay, that laugh was very submissive. It was very apologetic. I can't believe I'm actually talking to you. Again, that's a little bit of a try-hard compliment, but it's sweet. It's endearing. But then he goes, ha ha, ha ha, ha. Like he's worried. Basically, he's worried that she's not going to like him, right? He's looking for her approval, and that's generally unattractive.
So yeah, I don't normally meet many tier 2 subs.
Yeah.
Kinda unique.
I know. That's pretty crazy because it wasn't tier 3 before that. I probably should have clarified that. You know what I mean?
It was tier 3 before that?
Again, the laugh.
Yes, it literally was.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I just didn't want to lie to you. That's literally what that's my whole thing. Honesty is the best policy, stuff
The
like that.
fuck?
know what I mean?
I appreciate
What do you mean
that.
take notes? Y'all
I
are
respect that,
assholes.
Definitely. So, is there anything else you want to ask me? Or,
So how long?
Again, he's being apologetic. So is there anything you want to ask me? He can't just let that hang. He can't let the silence hang. He's feeling a lot of tension, and it's coming out in trying to say little extra things, going ha 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 ha, ha, his body language. And these are all things that signal to a woman that you are low status, that you do not believe she should be attractive to you.
Have you been watching my stream?
I've been watching.
This is you. Or at least it could be you. You've been island hopping through Greece with a group of...
Well, definitely. So, is there anything else you want to ask me? Or,
So how long have you been watching my stream?
I've been watching about 15 months.
15 months.
And like, let's be fair. He's streaming on Adin Ross's channel, who has millions of followers. He's one of the top 3 guys. He's one of the top 3 guys on Twitch. So that's already intimidating. He's talking to who I believe is the most famous female streamer, Amaranth, who is very attractive, and that's a lot of pressure, right? And he's kind of crumbling under the pressure, but most people would, right? You got to be fair. Most people would crumble under this level of pressure.
Oh, it's a long time.
Yeah.
You already know kind of all about me then.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not like doing an A&E biography, but I'm saying like, I've watched enough to kind of like understand the kind of person you are. And like, I feel like there's a whole lot more than, meets the eye for you.
So that was not the best response, because she's saying, so you already know all about me. And he's thinking, oh man, I look like a creep, right? I look like a stalker that's like way too into her, that jacks off to her, that kind of thing, right? That's what he's worried about. And so he's saying, no, I'm not. It's not like I could do a biography about you. And the way he's being so apologetic makes it seem like the opposite is true. The way he's saying it makes it seem like he really is a stalker. And so that is very bad.
For at least how some people might perceive you or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm saying like I'm totally with everything you do. And this is, what I'm saying. So
cool. All right, Action. I'm gonna see you in the second round, okay?
That was such a dismissive, cool, bye.
All right, man. Take care.
All right. What do you rate Action Man 1 through 10?
I think she's gonna rate him pretty low. 3, 4, 5 tops.
I think like a 6. He gets brought.
Okay. All right. She's nice. All right. She's nice.
Points for being a sub, but it honestly would have been higher if it was like tier 3. So
Okay.
Yeah.
6.
Okay. Why can't be a tier 1? Like, why can't you just sub for tier 1?
Tier 1, I actually respect that a little more than tier 2, because tier 1 means you're like normal, but like tier 2 is like he wants to try hard, but for some reason he's afraid to commit.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
afraid to go all the way.
Okay. All right. Let's get Wu Matumba in here.
Hello.
Okay.
Hey.
What's up? Shit.
Hi.
Oh, Amaranth. Oh, sometimes I come by your streams and jerk off to them.
Okay, so we'll get to that one on the next video. That looks like it's going to be a shit show. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button if you want to see that. And let me know if there's anything else on the internet related to dating, related to flirting, related to charisma that you'd like me to do, that you'd like me to analyze and break down. Overall, that first guy, yeah, he had no game. He had no game whatsoever. He just came across as someone who didn't believe he was attractive, as someone who didn't believe women really, he seemed like he didn't believe women find him attractive or like him, and he's assuming rejection. To be fair, there was a lot of pressure on him, but he wasn't witty, he wasn't funny, his body language wasn't good, his vocal tonality was probably the best thing. He speaks with like a lot of energy, right? He speaks with a lot of passion, so that was good. But everything else about it wasn't very good. I don't see him winning this E-Date competition and being the one who Amaranth chooses to be the most charming, to have the best game, which is basically the idea. Now, of course, this is all a bit of a show. This isn't real game in the real world. That's what I teach, right? I show guys how to go out, approach women, get numbers, get dates, get a girlfriend, get laid, whatever it is you want. I show guys how to do that in real life without just watching other people on the internet, without, e-dating. I show you the real thing. And if you want to learn more about my coaching, make sure to click the link below so you can take a 3-day boot camp with me where I will show you in person how to approach women in a way that is very successful, in a way that isn't creepy, it isn't pushy, but you do make your intentions clear. The girl knows what's up, and you're able to get a lot of dates and a lot of success. And if you're skeptical as to whether I really know what I'm talking about, you can watch some infield on my channel of myself approaching women to see that I really walk the walk. And you can also watch my testimonials showing what other guys have been able to achieve on my programs. With that said, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button. Until next time. Woo! Every day, 3 videos a day. Every day, 3 videos a fucking day. That's what I'm doing. And today I'm a little stressed about things that have nothing to do with this, so I didn't want to do it. But there's a lot to be said about pushing yourself and doing things even when you're uncomfortable. That is very, very valuable. Yes, if the girl's very dominant, then being submissive can work. Yeah, it's basically you want to create polarity, right? So it can go both ways. But anyway, with that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow.